Right now, while you're reading these very words, there's somebody in your life experiencing genuine panic. Not mild worry, but actual panic. Their breathing pattern has shifted, sleep has become elusive, and every morning brings the same thought crashing in. I'm losing them. This isn't merely a feeling, it's an alarm reverberating through every cell of their body. When someone realizes they're truly losing something precious, their system interprets this as a biological threat. The heartbeat becomes erratic, nausea sets in, palms grow damp. The brain encodes this loss as something as severe as mortality itself. If you've experienced this pain, write "0" in the comments. During the final phase of his life, Carl Jung penned these words. Attachment isn't simply an emotional phenomenon. It represents a spiritual rooting. When a root gets torn away, the entire system trembles. That individual is experiencing precisely this tremor right now. But hold on, let's step backward for a moment. Without grasping how this story began, you can't comprehend how it ends. There was a time when that person felt secure. They believed you would always remain present. Perhaps they never voiced it, perhaps they never demonstrated it, but deep inside existed a certainty. They'll wait. They're waiting. This kind of confidence is dangerous. It breeds complacency, renders people motionless. Tomorrow, they say. In a little while, they say. When I'm ready, they say. And days, weeks, months pass this way. One of Jung's clients would consistently repeat the same phrase during therapy sessions. I love them, but I'm not ready yet. 6 months later, when this same individual returned to Jung, they had already lost that person. And Jung told them this: while you waited to be ready, life compelled you to live without that readiness. Your person is experiencing exactly this right now. While waiting for readiness, you transformed. And this transformation turned their world upside down. So what did you do? Actually, you did nothing. You simply didn't stop. You continued living. You laughed. You made plans. You spent time with other people. You lived your own life. And this became the biggest shock for that person. Because when someone who's waiting stops, the one being waited for experiences a fundamental shift in their reality. That person assumed your world revolved around them. And one day they woke up. They looked and realized, "one," and they're just a star, perhaps a satellite, but not the center. This awareness is devastating. Jung would call this ego death, meaning the collapse of a person's illusions about themselves, the illusion of being the center. It gets replaced by the reality of being just one part, and this transition brings pain. Now that person wakes up every day with this ache and asks themselves the same question daily. When did I lose them? Which moment? Which word? Which silence? But here's what they don't understand. They didn't lose you. You simply stopped waiting. And this is something far more powerful. Now I'm going to explain the anatomy of the process that person is currently going through. Because once you understand this process, you'll also comprehend the shocking move they're about to make soon. First stage is denial. Initially, that person ignored that you had changed. They're busy, they said. They act like this when tired, they said. It will pass, they said. But it didn't pass. Because your transformation wasn't a temporary mood. It was a permanent evolution. According to Jung, denial is the subconscious mind's most basic defense mechanism, because facing reality means accepting change, and change is always frightening, especially change I cannot control. Second stage is anger. Then that person became angry, not at you, at themselves. Why did I wait so long? They said. Why did I act so foolishly? They said. This anger was actually an expression of powerlessness, because they realized something. Control is no longer theirs. You're in the driver's seat of your own life, and they're just a passenger. In fact, maybe they're not even a passenger anymore. Third stage is bargaining. Then the subconscious began negotiating. Maybe I should wait a bit longer, they said. Maybe circumstances will improve, they said. Maybe the perfect moment will arrive, they said. But there's no such thing as a perfect moment. According to Jung's observation, those who wait for the perfect moment wait forever. Because the perfect moment is only the moment when you take action. Fourth stage is collapse. And then the walls crumbled. That person, perhaps one night, perhaps one morning, perhaps while heading to work, suddenly stopped and the entire truth crashed down on them all at once. I'm losing them. Maybe I've already lost them, and this is my fault. One of the most common symptoms Jung observed in his patients was the suddenly arriving existential collapse. When people described the moment when a lie they'd lived for years suddenly crumbled, they always said the same thing. It's as if heaven and earth switched places, as if everything suddenly became clear. That person is currently in this clarity, and this clarity is terrifying, because now they cannot deceive themselves. Now they cannot produce excuses. Now they cannot postpone. And right at this point, the fifth stage begins, taking action. Now listen carefully, because this is the part where everything changes. When a person truly understands they're losing something valuable, there are two paths. Either they grieve and move forward, or they fight. Do you think they will fight? Write "fight" in the comments. Your person has decided to fight. But this isn't an ordinary battle. This is a battle with themselves. A battle with their fears, their laziness, their habits. And this battle will manifest outwardly as a shocking move. So what might this move be? Possibility 1. They'll appear before you, but not like before. This time defenseless. This time honest. This time no mask. They'll tell you this. Quote 3. These words aren't easy, because the ego hates such a confession. The ego always wants to be right, always wants to appear strong. But love is greater than ego, and that person now understands this. Possibility 2. They'll make a radical change in their life. Maybe they'll quit their job. Maybe they'll change cities. Maybe they'll take a step they've been postponing for years. Because they realize something. The message you gave them was very clear. I'm moving forward. Either you move forward too, or stay behind. And they're not choosing to stay behind. According to Jung's observation, a person's genuine transformation only begins when they become desperate. Because humans don't change in comfort, they change in pain. And that person is currently suffering enough. Possibility 3. They'll write you a letter, send you a message, give you a gift. But this won't be an ordinary gesture. This will be an expression emerging from the depths of their soul. Maybe they'll say things they haven't said in years. Maybe they'll cry. Maybe they'll hold the phone with trembling hands. Because this is their final chance, and they know it. So what will you do? That's the real question. Because whatever their move is, the decision is yours. You're no longer the waiting party. You're the choosing party. And this power can be frightening. Because with power comes responsibility. You can no longer say, what will they do? I'll act according to them. Now you must ask, what do I want? According to Jung, freedom is what frightens people most. Because freedom requires making choices, and choice sometimes means letting go. Now I'll give you some thought points that will help you understand how to react to the move that person will make toward you. Ask yourself this. When that person comes to you, what will your first reaction in your heart be? Because the first reaction is the most honest one. The thoughts that come after are rationalizations, reasoning. But the first reaction shows the truth in your soul. Will you feel joy or unease, relief or weariness? This feeling will give you your real answer. Another point, if you give them a second chance, will this stem from your weakness or your maturity? The difference is this. Chances given from weakness hurt again. Chances given from maturity heal. Returning to them, is it to escape loneliness or because you genuinely see a future with them? Can you see this difference clearly? Think about this too. Can you imagine a concrete future with that person? Are you honestly, or are you just trying to salvage the moment? Because if the future is blurry, maybe this relationship has already reached its end. And perhaps the most important question, if that person doesn't come now, would you still stand on your own? Because if your answer is hesitant, you're not ready yet. You need to work more not on them, but on yourself. Finally, were you expecting this move? Because if you were expecting it, your subconscious already knows the answer. But if you weren't expecting it, how does this surprise affect your reaction? The answers to these thought points will illuminate the decision you'll make. And while making this decision, remember this. There's no such thing as a right or wrong decision. There's only your decision. In Jung's later writings, there's a sentence like this. Regret is for things undone, not for things done. Meaning, whatever you decide, if you're deciding from your heart, you won't have regrets. Now let's understand more deeply why that person will make a shocking move. The human brain perceives loss as a threat, and in the face of threat, it shows three reactions: flee, fight, or freeze. That person remained in flee mode for a long time. Then they froze. Now they're entering fight mode, and fight mode is dramatic, brave, irreversible. According to Jung's archetype theory, inside every person exists a hero archetype. This archetype emerges at critical moments. It battles the dragon. It rescues the princess. It wins the kingdom. But the dragon isn't outside. It's inside. That person's dragon is their own fears. And now that hero is awakening. Because what's at risk of being lost is too valuable. Now I'll convey to you the thoughts currently circling in that person's mind. Because knowing these will help you understand their move. How was I so blind? How could I not see? They were always there, always ready, always open. And I, like a fool, while trying to protect myself, lost the most valuable thing. What will I do now? Will I go and apologize? Is that enough? No, it's not enough. Because an apology is just words. I need to show them. I need to show them I've changed. I need to show them I'm taking it seriously. But what if they won't listen to me? What if it's already too late? What if there's no room left for me in their heart? No, stop thinking. Feel. What does your heart say? Your heart says, fight, don't give up. Go talk, open your heart, show your real face, and whatever the outcome, at least you'll have tried. This internal conversation is currently spinning in that person's head. Maybe not word for word, but this is the essence. And soon this internal conversation will be externalized. It will become an action. It will become a movement. It will be a shocking move. Now I'll show you how to recognize when this move will come. First sign. That person's social media behavior will change. Either they'll become completely silent, or they'll suddenly start posting a lot. Both situations are indicators of internal turmoil. Second sign. Your mutual friends will start telling you things about them. Like they asked about you, like they mentioned you. Because that person will unconsciously try to establish connection with everyone around you. Third sign. They'll start appearing around you. In places you go, at events you attend. It will seem like coincidence, but it's not. Because the subconscious will be trying to find you. Fourth sign. They'll start sending you indirect messages. They'll share a song, write a quote, recount a memory. These are signals. I'm here. I still care. Please notice messages. If you've noticed these signs, write quote 5 in the comments. Fifth sign. They'll make a major change in their life and will want to make you aware of this change. Because they'll want to show you, look, I'm changing. I'm trying to become a person who can be with you. When you start seeing these signs, know that the move is near. And when that moment comes, be prepared. Because this will be a moment that will change both of your lives. Now I'll convey to you one of Jung's most valuable teachings, and this teaching will show you how you should approach the situation. According to Jung's research, the real meeting between two people only happens when both remove their masks. Otherwise, only two masks have met, meaning when that person comes to you, they must come without a mask, with their real face, real fears, real desires, and you must also receive them without a mask. Otherwise, this meeting becomes superficial again. So what does being without a mask mean? Being without a mask means when you say, I forgive you, but you actually haven't forgiven, saying this. Being without a mask means when you say it's fine, but it actually is a problem, confessing this. Being without a mask means being able to say, I'm scared when you're scared, saying I'm angry when you're angry, because only honesty creates real connection. Lies only provide temporary relief. Now I'll tell you what will happen after the move that person makes, because the move is only the beginning. The real work comes afterward. If you say yes to them, meaning if you give them a second chance, remember that this time the rules must be different. Because if you return to the old rules, the old problems will return too. According to Jung's assessment, the reconstruction of relationships required a new foundation. If the old foundation is rotten, you cannot build a new house on it. You must first lay the foundation anew. How is a new foundation laid? First, honesty. Both sides must clearly state what they want, what they fear, what they need. Second, boundaries. You must clarify what you will and will not accept, and they must respect your boundaries. Third, action. Words aren't enough. Change must be demonstrated in behaviors. That person must prove themselves, not with their words, but with their actions. Fourth, time. Trust isn't built in a day. You must be patient. But patience doesn't mean passive waiting. It means actively working together. Fifth, forgiveness. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering but releasing the pain. If you can put these 5 stones in place, you can build a new relationship. A stronger, more real, deeper relationship. But if you say no to them, this is also a powerful choice. Because sometimes letting go of the people we love most is a demonstration of loving ourselves. In Jung's works, he emphasized that letting go is also an art. Not letting go with malice, but with love. Being able to say, "You're not the right person for me, but this isn't your fault." If you choose this path, know that person will break. Maybe they won't heal for a long time, but this isn't your responsibility. Everyone is responsible for their own healing, and you must move forward on your own path. Because life doesn't stop, and you shouldn't stop. Now I'll tell you one final truth, and this is perhaps the most important truth. Whatever the outcome, the move that person makes will teach them something. That trying to hide the things you love is the fastest way to lose them, and it will also teach you something. When you love yourself, others start loving you too. Because self-worth is magnetic. Someone who sees themselves as valuable attracts people around them to their own worth. Jung called this synchronicity. When we're at the right vibration, the right people enter our lives. And perhaps that person isn't the right person for you. Perhaps this move comes for a closure, not for a new beginning. Perhaps you must first close this in order to be open to someone else. Whatever happens, you win. Because you're no longer the one waiting. You're a person who lives. Now is your moment of decision. One of life's most important turning points. When that person comes, you already know what you'll feel. In the depths of your heart, the answer is ready. You just need to show the courage to listen to it. Because you don't need other people's opinions. You only need your own inner wisdom. And that wisdom is speaking to you right now. Do you hear it? Maybe you'll greet them with joy. Maybe with anger. Maybe with peace. Maybe with indifference. Whatever the feeling is, it's your truth. And you must remain loyal to this truth. There was one principle Jung defended throughout his life. The only person who can tell you the meaning of your life is you. And now is your time. Decision time. Living time. That person will soon make a shocking move. But you're already prepared. Because you're now a different person, a strong person, a person who can stand on their own feet. And this strength will lead you to the right place no matter what you do. If you've chosen your own power, write "ready" in the comments.